In this video I will be going for Asia as a novice. The logic behind that is very simple. Why to go for a two-troop continent like Australia, when you could just straightly go for the biggest continent and get way more troops? Asia is the biggest continent in the classic Risk map, which even gives 7 troops to whoever who captures it. If I went for Australia, then I would only get 2 troops in comparison. So Asia gives even 5 more troops than it. I don't know how about you guys, but it sounds like a profit for me. I'm a Risk novice and I go with the logic. I will outgrow them easily and the Australian player will only be a joke to me. 7 troops is obviously more than 2, so he better be prepared to get eliminated soon. My opponents are novice ranked as well, so I'm gonna prove to them that I'm the best novice ever. I'm confident my Asian strategy is going to work out. Like there is no way I lose getting the most of troops, right? In this game I'm not going to guard my borders to not irritate my opponents, so they would leave me alone and focus on each other instead. While I would be able to grow strong and eventually outgrow them the troop-wise, I will just wait till I have more troops than all of them combined, and then I will just take them in a single turn out. It sounds easy guys, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Risk novice for the win. In this game I will be using the Asian turtle strategy when you build a few different counter-attack armies inside your continent, so your opponents wouldn't attack you because they know you could retaliate, but at the same time they wouldn't be that much bothered by you since you don't guard against them at all. Anyways, as you can see, the blue player left the game so the bot took over him. On the one hand I don't like that because it's not as much interesting to play with the computer players, but on the other hand I'm very happy, because the Australian player could be the most of an issue when trying to go for Asia, as he can just put his army on Siam, so then there's no way you can capture Asia. So I'm very glad that the bot won't be an issue for me, but I would have preferred that it had left its troops in South America, rather than fortifying them in Africa, so it would have stayed as a problem for yellow. While now either me or orange will be targeted, probably both of us, but we will see about it guys. Yeah, absolutely the bot will be issue for me and orange, when the blue player will be safe against bot after capturing South America. But as long as the real players don't attack me into Asia by themselves, I will be fine with that. The orange player was the one who sent me an alliance by himself, so I assume he probably stays as a loyal ally. Then I sent an alliance to the yellow player by myself, but he didn't accept, but on the other he didn't invade me either. So I'm not that sure about him yet, but it's possible that he might mostly be focusing on blue since he left the biggest army on the blue player's border. And phew, the bot didn't invade me after all. Since I want to keep good relationships with the real players, I think it will be the best if I attack blue. As it's possible to make your real opponents not to invade you because of the diplomacy, while the bot doesn't understand that, so if your continent is unguarded, then expect to get invaded by it. And oh no guys. The yellow player has actually invaded me. He doesn't let me use the Asian turtle strategy, when you don't guard Asia at all, and just put a few counter-attack armies into it, so your opponents would be discouraged of invading you, since they know that these armies could be used against them. But obviously when you only hold Asia just for one turn, and your armies are still relatively small, then obviously your opponents won't be afraid to invade you at all. The orange player was not guarding his borders as well while using the European turtle strategy, and to be honest it is very unusual for a novice ranked player to use the European turtle strategy or any turtling strategy at all when you don't guard your borders at all. So that was really interesting to see indeed. Anyways, I think he is making a mistake by not invading yellow. Yellow is getting more troops than me and him combined, so the yellow player could easily win in a few turns because the balance of the game would be broken. So it's relatively bad that the orange player fortified his army to be more suitable to either attack me or blue, rather yellow. As the only player we should attack right now is yellow. Anyways, if you wonder why I didn't capture Australia in any of these turns, is because I was still hoping to pull off the Asia without Australia strategy. I mean, I know it's stupid, but this is why I went for Asia at the first place, which is a very bad decision most of the times. Obviously I'm playing this game more for fun, for the memes rather than to win. As again, I wouldn't have picked to go for Asia if my goal was to play seriously. But this game is unranked anyway, so nobody will lose the ranking points. It's not really good that the orange player captured all the territories of the blue player outside Australia except one. Meaning that now the yellow player gets to take blue if I clear out blue from Australia. But I mean, even without me clearing blue from Australia, yellow could still clear out blue from Australia by himself, having such big armies. So it doesn't make much difference. I'm a novice, so I finally decided to go for Australia by myself, after clearly seeing that I won't get Asia anymore. As remember guys, no Australia, no win, either get it at any cost or lose the game. Or I mean, I could have seriously tried taking out blue by myself. Or at least I could not have cleared out blue from Australia. But remember guys, I'm playing as a novice in this game. If I want to beat novices, then I have to think like a novice myself as well. As the yellow player could have just obviously won right now by having more troops than me and the orange player combined. Or at least he could have taken one of us out when we have a lot of cards, rather than letting us trade in sets. Or after all, at the very least he could have at least invaded orange into Europe and crushed even more of our armies, instead of one single army of mine. As who knows, we might be able to do a comeback after the orange player realizing that we must attack yellow, as otherwise we obviously lose. So I'm very glad that the orange player was able to invade yellow into both of the Americas successfully. So let's attack the yellow player as well. Maybe it's not the best idea to unleash yellow's biggest army when not being able to crush it, but I mean, I have to gain the orange player's trust. I want that he knew that I'm willing to team up on him to attack the yellow player as well, so he would be encouraged to attack yellow even more by himself as well. And I mean, if yellow was smart enough, then he could have already won since he had more troops than me and orange combined. So that's not that big of a problem for us to make some mistakes as well. As the yellow player, having even more troops than us combined, might not necessarily realize how to win. And please run out of time to invade Australia yellow. Well, unfortunately he barely made it in time. Barely, but still made it, and that's really bad. The orange player is making a mistake by trying to capture a continent for himself, rather than invading yellow into South America. Europe even has 4 borders, so there's no way the orange player wouldn't be able to invade it. But let's remember that I'm a novice ranked player as well guys. So this is why I took the priority to get a continent for myself, rather than invading my opponent's one, or at least capturing as many of my opponent's territories as possible. As remember guys, the more territories you have, the bigger territorial bonus you get, and the less territories your opponent has, the smaller territorial bonus he gets. Anyways, after taking down yellow's army from Indonesia, I should have left only 3 troops on it, rather than putting the whole army. I should have left the whole army on Siam while only leaving 3 troops on Indonesia, so I would have been able to fortify 3 Western Australian troops to my Siam army. So after all, I would have had the same number of troops on my Siam army, but 3 troops army would have ended up being in Indonesia instead of Western Australia, so in that case Australia would have been better protected. But as you can see at the end, it made no difference at all. I used all the troops I had on the border to invade yellow into South America. So since not having these army troops anymore, I fortified 3 troops from Western Australia to Indonesia. I thought that the yellow player might be dumb to block his biggest army, but no, he was smart enough to not continue attacking with his 4-troop army. But on the other hand, he was so unfortunate to get a bad blitz roll crushing Orange's 6 troops, so he didn't get an opportunity to capture some more territories of mine or even invade me into Australia anyways. And OMG guys, I cannot believe that I was so lucky to get a 10-troop set at 4 cards. And with additionally getting 9 troops from territorial bonus in Australia, I will do a lot of damage to yellow. So after all, the game hasn't been lost yet. Not at all. In fact, I think I have very good chances to win, especially if my opponent fails to invade me into all of my continents or not captures as many territories as possible. So let's see what the yellow player is going to do. It seems he is struggling for a little bit. Well, either way I think he will fail to invade into one of my continents. Australia is being guarded. So the yellow player decides not to even bother with it, at the same time leaving my 5 troops blocked, and it's neither too bad nor too good for me. Actually, I'm very glad that I still hold Australia, as who knows, maybe the yellow player would have gotten an extremely lucky blitz roll blitzing my troops. So yeah, I think I have just won, guys. The territory difference is just too huge to do something if he doesn't have a set. But he does. 10 troops at 3 cards. Wow, he might have born under a lucky star. When he was about to lose, the fortune shines for him again. So he goes to take over Australia. But actually I'm not worried as much, I still have a lot of territories and plus 3 cards. So after all I think I would still have been in a better situation, even if I had failed invading yellow into Australia. But wow, I was lucky to not only invade Australia, but to take over South America, getting good dice too. Which the yellow player unfortunately to him fails to invade. Unfortunately I don't have a set. But that doesn't change much, as I'm clearly took over advantage. And with me next turn trading in a set, I might have completely wiped him out. And then the game will be over. Novice wins out with an unexpected victory. If you guys enjoyed watching this video, then I would recommend checking some of these out as well. Watching more videos will help you to progress so much faster. Highly increase your skills by simply watching Risk videos.